Hey everybody, Nerd Transformed here again. Today I'm reviewing our Cybertron figure. This would be the Transformer Cybertron Scout Class Brakedown. Now, Brakedown was actually in the show. He was a good buddy with Clocker, who I'll go ahead and bring in the show for size comparison. And these two kind of always remind me of like a new version of like Hot Rod and Cup, kind of. Because, I mean, we do have Clocker here who's young and spunky and he has the pipes. And then we have Brakedown here who's a very old man. From what I understand, he's supposed to be a Velocitronian version of a Dragster. Not Cybertronian, but Velocitronian, since he's from Velocitron. And he does have an Autobot symbol on the back here, but he's technically not an Autobot since he doesn't join any faction, just like a lot of the other Velocitronians don't really technically join any faction. From what I understand, he is one of the oldest robots on the planet, so I think he is the oldest man on the planet, so he's kind of treated as this weird old coot. His character always reminded me more of Yoda, where, yeah, he's an old man who says weird stuff, but then you kind of realize some of the weird stuff he says has meaning to it. And then he just kind of goes along and says, but don't mind me, I'm just an old man chatting away here. And it kind of gives off that whole thing of, like, oh yeah, he's weird, saying weird stuff, but he knows what he's talking about, because, I mean, he's made it this far. He's an old man, he's lived this long for a reason, so you might want to listen to what he says. Now, as I mentioned, he is like a Velocitronian version of a Dragster. He's very odd looking vehicle mode. I mean, back here you basically just have the robot chest. Just robot mode kind of hiding there. His arms really aren't hiding too well. I mean, you can say they're his intakes or engines or something, but they're kind of just his arms there, you know. His chest is just there. His head's somewhat hidden well. Like, at the very least, you really can't tell it's his head. It's just this weird panel there, but at the very least, I don't know, it's more of the vehicle looks so weird that it's hard to tell if that's how it's supposed to look or if that's his head poking out. It's like, it blends in only because everything else around it looks so weird. He does have a key gimmick, but you can't really access it well in this mode without pop, because the engine block here is where the key gimmick is, and it does become his weapon, so it is a separate piece. So the only way to activate the key gimmick is to pop it out. And all it does is put the key in, it flips out the blade. But you can use it in this mode if you want. I mean, there, he's got a poker. So you can slice up somebody's tires, I guess. But I don't really like using that gimmick, and you really can't use it in this mode. And despite being a Velocitronian Dragster, he does have a seat in the windshield. So I guess a human could technically ride in him. And for another comparison, here he is next to Leader Optimus, so you can see just how small Scout class is. So yeah, he's a typical Scout class size. I do like his colors though. They do remind me of like what an old car would probably have, like just this very rusty, older look to it. This does have a nice kind of metallic copper look to it. The car version has a dark brown, which I think is more accurate, but I really like this shiny copper look it has. It's not really rusty, but it just kind of has like an old-timey look to it, with the gray and the black, the dark brown and the lighter copper brown, and then just little hints of yellow, kind of giving this very rusty, light look to it. And he does roll, of course. He does have these wheels at the front. The way it sucks is that since the engine block is a separate piece, if you buy a second hand and it's missing that, you're kind of just left with this big gaping hole in him. So that does suck. So definitely keep this engine block, and honestly that's the only purpose it has, because honestly it's not much of a weapon. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I like his vehicle mode. I think he's a really cool character in the show, so vehicle mode is accurate to the show at least. Not the best vehicle mode. I just wish they hid the robot parts better. I just wish these were hidden away better. But we'll go ahead and get to the transformation. Go ahead and pop the engine block out. Come to the sides here. These arms are actually kind of slid onto pegs. They're not really pegged in, they're kind of slid on the pegs. So you're going to push them upwards, or at least towards the top of the vehicle. Oh, come on. Gotta work them loose sometimes. They can be a little tight filling there. Basically, you're going to want to just work them upward like that. Come to the bottom here. Bring the legs. You're going to just rotate them out and line them up with the chest. Flip out the feet and unpeg the legs from each other. Rotate these little struts that the arms are sitting on. You can see there's a strut down here. Until it's facing like that. Go ahead and grab the head, just turn it around. And there's his head. Then the rest is just work on the kibble. Just bring it on down like that. And it'll bend the gray piece front railings here will bend at a hinge and flip up. And you cannot leave the engine block in there. You actually do have to take it out, otherwise this does not able to fold all the way. Excuse me, fold all the way. And there you have Brakedown, which is spelled like car brake, so Brakedown, unlike the G1 character. But there we have Brakedown in his little robot mode. Alright, now we have Brakedown in his robot mode. Let's go get comparisons out of the way. Here he's next to Clocker, whose arm just broke while I was transforming him. That kind of sucks. So yeah, he's falling apart more than the old man is here. And here he's next to Optimus. Leader Optimus, so you can see quite a bit shorter, as you would expect with a scout class. So yeah, Brakedown has a very odd looking robot mode. He does have his engine block here, which if you do want to store in his robot mode, you gotta peg into the same hole just from the other side, and you're kind of just left with, yeah, all that kibble just kind of sticking out there. But it does kind of help fill in that gap. Yeah, I'm not too impressed with that kibble. You can also take the kibble if you want and fold it back down, and then you can actually store the engine block like this. And yeah, you have all this hanging down, but you don't have it all sticking up either. It's kind of however you want to handle it, but the official way is to have it sticking up. So that's the way I'm going to leave it for the rest of the review. But let's take a start with that head sculpt, which kind of reminds me of Galvatron, actually. It's a very Galvatron-esque head sculpt. It's got a very stern expression too, which really adds to it. He's also got kind of a little bit of a beard. It's hard to see here because it's painted the same color as his head, but he does have a little bit of a beard under his mouth with a 3-point crown. And that little yellow panel on the back of his head is for light piping, so if you get just right, you see right there, his eyes light up a little bit. I really don't like how his hands look. It just looks like a car bit with a hole drilled in it. I know a lot of figures from the Unicron era had this kind of issue where it was just like their hands were just wherever at the end of their arms with a hole drilled in to represent the peg hole, or to be a peg hole and represent the hands. But here it literally just looks like they didn't even try to detail it look like fingers or a hand. It literally is just the end of the vehicle with a hole drilled in to make it look so he can hold his weapon. Which, I mean, he does hold fine. I mean, it works, just it looks so weird. It just looks really weird aesthetically. Plus, it doesn't help that his elbows are so far down his arms that they look more like wrist joints. I mean, that's his elbow there. It really does look more like wrist joint. Everything else looks fine, it's just his arms look very weird. Basically, the two main problems with this figure, at least aesthetically for me, is just the kibble just kind of sticking up here for no reason with nothing to do. It just folds up like that. And then you just have weird hands, just fins. He just has fins for hand, with fin hand syndrome. Very, very odd looking. But the rest of his details actually do look alright. I do like the yellow on the arms. The wheels do make for very big, powerful looking shoulders. Even if the shoulders are a little high on him, that's another weird aesthetic because he has really high up shoulders. And with them being so big and bulky, it kind of looks like they kind of detached from his body. The chest detail though looks really nice. Got the little pecs, got the little bit of a yellow vent there. Got Autobot symbol, even though he's not an Autobot. He's got like this engine piping detail for his midriff. His legs themselves don't really have much detail, but the lower legs look very much like a Mega Man character almost. Nice little some brown to kind of break it all up at the ankle and at the knee here. Got a darker brown for the feet to make it stick out a bit more. So honestly, he doesn't look that bad. Like I say, it kind of looks very weird, but it also kind of matches his aesthetic of just being this older car bot with all the colors and like the kind of rusty color he has to him and the weird yellow translucent as if he's been sitting out in the sun. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention his wheels are actually painted, which is really nice. You don't see that anymore. I like that the rims are painted. So yeah, he's got some weird aesthetics, but he's a neat little looking thing. He also has his weapon, of course, which flip out the little stabby sword thing. It's not that it's bad, but it just looks really weird. There. It just kind of continues that really weird aesthetic he has. It's very odd. You have this big old engine block in his hand, and you just have a sword sticking out. And it's not even like sticking out the right way. It's just sticking out forward like that. So all I can do is stab with it. You can't even slice with it because, for one thing, it's pointing upward, so you have to slice upward if you're cutting thing. Like, I guess you could turn his hand upside down and you can slice properly. Or like this. But it's just so weird, like, because you see it like that and you just stab. I mean, I guess you could say it shoots the sword, but it doesn't, so just run around stabbing things like that. Maybe that fits the old man. He's a crazy old man. Lost his mind, stabbing everything now. Like I said, the whole figure is just really weird aesthetics. It's a very weird. It's one of those things you have to be into, like a weird looking figure, in order to enjoy him. He's not bad. He is honestly not bad. He's just very odd in aesthetic wise. He actually does have a decently fun transformation, if not a little too simple. And his articulation is not bad. So yeah, it's a head swivel. He does have fully ball jointed shoulders, so yeah, shoulders, if I could speak properly. I'm turning into the old man here. They don't go out very far, but you can get his arms outward if you want. As I mentioned, he does have ball jointed elbows, or wrists, whichever you want to call them, but they are ball jointed. Do get ball jointed hips that can go forward pretty dang far and go pretty far back. They don't really go outward much. His ball joints are still limited from how they're, just like the arms are really limited, but you can get his feet apart at least. You do get ball jointed knees, and you do get some ankle movement technically, so you could get him kind of stepping forward. Helps if you try and turn one of the ankles or one of the knees. And kind of just like that. Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast. Yeah, it works. So his articulation is not the best, but it's not bad. He's a figure that you either like him or you don't. It's honestly like that. Or you're like me where you're kind of just mad about him. I love his character in the show. The show character I really do like. This figure, however, I don't hate him, but he's honestly just I honestly own him just because it's of the character in the show. If he wasn't in the show, I would own this toy, to be honest, or at least I would have done sold it off by now. So I don't think everybody if you want all the Cybertron show characters, then pick them up. But you're kind of going to do it anyway, just to have all the Cybertron show characters. If you like weird figures with odd little bits about them, he might be for you. Like I said, he's a very odd figure. He's not bad. He's honestly not a bad toy. Just very weird and odd in his aesthetics. If you think he looks cool, go ahead and pick him up. If you don't like if you like weird figures or aesthetics, or you don't really like weird looks to them or weird body shapes, don't pick him up. But other than that, I think he's an alright figure. Especially for Scout class. I mean, considering this is a Scout class, he's really not that bad. So, yeah, I think he's alright. So, this has been Nary Transformed. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope you have a good day. Take care.